Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So first up today, Dan Ives saying what I think many people are thinking. On Tesla, in my view, we are getting to the 2018 days and the stock is way oversold here. And I don't personally feel the need to try to pinpoint why and explain all the different reasons, because ultimately all I know for sure is that in the long run, this period of time will not last. That said, there's something I have to say. There have been so many Tesla investors online that I've seen whining and complaining to Elon or just in general about the stock price. And look, I know that people are emotional when they watch their portfolio fluctuate, but I have to say, coming from my financial advisor mindset, if you're really a long-term investor, you should not be getting so upset and emotional over these Tesla price swings. I know they're relatively drastic to some people that might be new to the market, but I think it's more of people being way too leveraged in Tesla for their own risk tolerance, and you have to answer that question for yourself. So hear me on this. I am not trying to be insensitive here. I'm just saying, if you're really a long-term investor and you're not over leveraged, this period of time in the market should not be that big of a deal. Since its inception, this is just how the stock market has worked. And to see so many people online complaining to Elon about, oh, you have to do a stock buyback, we need you to help the stock, or stop doing your other activities, stop what you're doing with Twitter because we need the stock price to go up right now. It's like, are these people brand new to investing or what's going on here? There's way too much complaining and whining, and there seems to be a serious lack of understanding how true long-term investing works. We need patience. You just stay the course. You take advantage of opportunities. Don't get lost in the noise, guys. Long-term investing, we're talking 5 at a minimum years, more likely 10 to 20 years, not 20 weeks. Everything will be okay. A quick update on this vehicle fire. So there is a 12-minute video on YouTube. I will link it below for you to watch. There is some audio, and to me, it seems to be an organic incident. Clearly, this was not caused by an accident, at least as far as we can tell. And when it comes to the fire data, if we're being honest, 2 things you have to remember. Yes, EVs don't catch on fire more than ICE vehicles. However, most EVs are newer and most internal combustion engine vehicles are going to be older. So that's part of it. Additionally, I think it would be better if the data was split out and you had fires caused by accidents and then fires that were just spontaneous, not the result of an accident. That differentiation definitely matters. This incident right here, as far as we can tell, seems to be a spontaneous incident, and one anecdote is not a reason to panic, but it's a good learning lesson for Tesla. And the last thing I'll say is the fire department was able to put out the fire in a matter of minutes, as you can see in the video. So was this the 12-volt lithium battery and not the battery pack? I can't really say. We still don't have an official investigation. And was this a Tesla Q getting paid to set his car on fire and stage this whole thing? Look, I don't know. Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? Honestly, after watching the video, I would say no, but watch it for yourself, linked below, and come to your own conclusions. As always, with respect to Gary Black, I have to challenge his viewpoints once again. Now he's saying that this new diner drive-in would be another distraction to Tesla shareholders. I completely disagree. I personally think this is such an awesome idea. 1, because it's fun, but 2, it's a place for people to go and take pictures and to share an experience and just to have a different part of a community place to go and hang out for Tesla owners. And really at the heart of it, people do buy into a brand and love the community, and this is just another way to build onto that. So Gary says he's just sharing how institutional shareholders will view this. Don't forget, most institutional shareholders have missed the Tesla story for years, so we should not be too concerned about what most of these guys are doing. Then he says, I don't want Tesla management getting distracted when they should be focused on building EVs. Can someone please explain to me how building a one-off diner restaurant is going to be a distraction? They're not pulling engineers, they're not pulling people off the production line to do this. Tesla is growing and expanding and hiring new people. I don't see why everything has to be a distraction. And lastly, I'm sorry, but I'm just sick of people saying this. He says, it's been a huge negative for Tesla shareholders, talking about Twitter, saying how Tesla's down 44% since April 4th. Look, the whole market is down. It's not just Tesla, and it's not just because of Twitter, okay? Tesla would be down like this if Twitter was never a thing. Would it be down less? Sure, maybe, but this whole move is not driven by Twitter, and it's definitely not a 44% drop. But ultimately, what does Elon always say? The future shouldn't just be about solving problems and fixing issues. It should also be about excitement and fun and enjoying what you're doing. And that's part of why I really like Tesla. This is just a microcosm of that. So I love it. And I think this take by Gary is terrible. Now, sure, if Tesla comes out and says, hey, you know what, guys, we're gonna, tone down our Model Y production and actually focus more energy and effort on expanding these diners worldwide, then maybe that's a problem. But for now, this is definitely not a problem or a distraction, in my humble opinion. So it's that time again, as Charity Stars, the sponsor of today's video, is bringing the chance to win a 2022 Rivian R1T Adventure Package and $10,000 cash. Per the usual, car taxes and shipping will be included for United States winners. And who knows, maybe this will be you. Just head to charitystars.com/electrified and use coupon code electrified for 100 free entries. Charity Stars is a fundraising platform that helps raise money for great causes. Donations this time will benefit the Adopt the Arts Foundation, a charity whose mission is to support art and music programs to students where funding is being cut in hundreds of elementary schools. And you probably know the scoop on the R1T. It gets 314 miles of range, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, can tow up to 11,000 pounds, and the Adventure Package adds a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats, and a powered tonneau cover. Entering the sweepstakes is a breeze. Just head to charitystars.com/electrified, choose your donation level, enter a brief amount of information, and boom, you're in. So the chance to win a brand new R1T, $10,000 cash, support a good cause, and support the channel all at the same time, not a bad deal. Best of luck. Tesla has halted some European deliveries because of enhanced autopilot features that are not yet available in the region. One customer said his delivery is on hold for at least 1 week until Tesla can deploy a software update to deactivate one of the functions of EAP. This has impacted a few customers from Spain to Norway, and one said the issue was that the automatic exit off a highway using Navigate on Autopilot is active, and this feature is not yet allowed. In the latest software release notes, you see energy prediction for your route has been improved by incorporating forecasted crosswind, headwind, humidity, and ambient temperature when using online navigation. And for driver profiles, the media player accounts like Spotify are now linked to your driver profile. Simply log into your media account while your driver profile is selected. So initially, these may not seem like a big deal, but for many people, these really are. And many people have requested these, especially the driver profiles. If you have family members or share your car, having your media accounts linked to your profile is a big deal. And obviously, better energy prediction is going to be welcomed. And forecasting the wind and the ambient temperature is pretty impressive in my opinion. So we'll see how it works in the real world. We learned about Tesla expanding in Berlin a few weeks ago, but apparently today it's become official as Tesla has filed the application. If you don't remember, Tesla is planning to expand the area in the east by around 100 hectares. The development plan, they're calling it B plan, for this area must be changed in order to do this. As early as Thursday, June 2nd, the municipality of Grünheide should deal with the application. However, what should come as no surprise, I guess, they don't expect the result of the weighing process and a possible resolution on the Articles of Association to be reached in just under a year at the earliest. So this might take a while for this land expansion. And if we go back, what's the land being used for? Well, supposedly warehouses and a freight station, so nothing super exciting, but expansion at Berlin is a good thing given how things have gone so far. And a note on the New York Times documentary titled Elon's Crash Course, I just wanted to tell you guys, it wasn't as much of a hit piece as I was expecting personally. I do think it leaned slightly negative. However, there was some factual evidence and things shared that I think it's important as Tesla fans and supporters to understand. So I just wanted to say, if you have the time, I would encourage you watching it. If you did watch it, let me know what you guys thought. Pretty awesome accomplishment for Starlink, now serving over 400,000 subscribers. If you take an average $100 per month for the subscription, that's about $40 million in monthly revenue for Starlink. Fingers still crossed for an IPO sometime here in the next 2 years. Just a warning, there is a deepfake video of Elon right now with regard to a crypto scam that's going around. It's kind of funny to watch. It's not funny for people getting scammed. I will link it below if you want to check it out, but just a warning. Volkswagen shared some pictures of its iteration of Tesla's Gigacast, and they're calling it their Megacast, but they're not expected to use this until 2026 with its first Trinity EV. The Megacast is supposed to replace 30 individual parts and save about 22 pounds. VW's machine uses 4,400 tons of compressive force and takes about 2 minutes. And they shared some images of the manufacturing process. Now, I haven't yet been able to confirm if this is a press from IDRA, but I would assume that it is. Although, as you can see, VW's is a bit flatter and theirs only reduces 30 parts, whereas with Tesla on the Model Y, it reduces 70 parts, and at a time for the Model 3, it was reducing around 370 parts. But just one example of the many ripple effects Tesla is having across the industry. And some low-key fraud. So Ford set to pay $19 million to settle claims from 40 US state attorney generals that Ford made misleading claims about fuel economy and payload. Now, it should be noted this was a while ago, as we're talking 2013 and 14 hybrid cars and 11 to 14 Super Duty pickup trucks. In short, Ford artificially raised the claim payload capacity, and Ford did say with regard to the fuel economy that it voluntarily flagged the incorrect ratings, corrected it, and reimbursed people who bought or leased the vehicles during the time that the rating was incorrectly advertised. And along those same lines, now we have Stellantis reaching a plea deal which, if finalized, will have them paying $300 million in penalties to resolve a multi-year emissions fraud probe. Stellantis has agreed to plead guilty to criminal conduct and pay that $300 million fine, all due to diesel engine fraud. Now, this was before the merger that ultimately resulted in Stellantis, so we're talking FCA here. And they were evading emission requirements for more than 100,000 older Ram pickup trucks and Jeep SUVs in the United States. As I said, this was pre-merger dating back to 2014 to 2016. And this is basically VW's Dieselgate Round 2. An employee is facing trial on charges he misled regulators about pollution from the vehicles targeted in the investigation. And the indictment alleges employees conspired to install defeat devices in vehicles so they could dupe government emissions tests and then pollute beyond legal limits on the roadway. And the reason this is so frustrating for me is it's not just a lack of trust that I would have for these corporations, but it's because this really shows a clear disregard for the health and well-being of humans. Okay, obviously emissions from these vehicles are terrible for people breathing it in, and these companies would rather focus on the bottom line than the ultimate well-being of their fellow man. That is something I cannot stand behind, and it's just sad to see. And what's gonna happen? They'll get a slap on the wrist and then it's back to business as usual. And lastly, Lucid has issued a recall for possibly all of its vehicles produced so far. The recall says unsecured wires on 2022 Air vehicles could cause the car's displays to turn off, thus removing the important information like how fast you're going, range, etc. The problem here for Lucid is that it does not seem to be an OTA fixable issue, as dealers will be responsible for inspecting vehicles and addressing the issue as needed, free of charge. That'll do it for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.